Well, she gave me her number. She's like, well, look, just text me. I really don't have time for conversations no more. She'd rather go text back and forth for 2 hours, texting back and forth, instead of having a 10-minute conversation that could have summed it all up. People don't want conversation.
Dang.
Heater alert.
Someone,
I think biggest thing that can show like a genuine friendship is that ability to call up on the phone. Hey, you want to hang out? And then it puts you in the spot where both of you need to be on your feet and open with each other.
yeah.
Whereas if you're texting, you can always just
That's
leave it on
so
red.
true.
Welcome to a new dream.
Hey,
All right, today we're watching a video of Mitch's choosing.
it's called Homeless Guy Spits Some Truth.
Have you seen it?
Yep.
And
Hey, you're about to see. You're about to see.
3-bedroom house, blah, 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 blah. And I had to lose it all to realize it was just stuff, but still. Then when you're done with your time, and I discharged my sentence in February 11th of 2011, I got my parole papers signed off. I became a citizen again. I can actually vote. I can actually go in and vote for the president. But I can't get a job here or here or here. I can't have any apartments because they won't accept felons. And I even went through...
yo, dude.
Yep.
All right, so first of all, he said I had to lose everything to realize it was just stuff.
That's huge. That's wow.
And just the hard part was just becoming part of society again. It's like they didn't want me. They didn't want me to be part of their society anymore. So I just decided, fuck it.
That's something that like struck me a lot the first time I watched this. Was they don't want me to be a part of society anymore. That's where I feel like we've completely lost the idea of like community in some ways.
Yeah.
Of just like people just get tossed to the curb, and like it's just those people are looked at as unsuccessful or a waste or whatever. You know, like this is just like a person who's homeless sitting outside a gas station. If you didn't walk up and like have a conversation with this guy, like so many of people in the population would just like view him in such a certain way.
Yeah.
Even though that is not indicative of his character. And anyways, his character is just a product of the environment he grew up in. So the reason why, whatever, this guy went to jail, he's homeless now, it's in a lot of ways not his fault. It's the system that he was brought up in.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, you can tell that he is so clearly trying to be a part of something bigger than himself.
I'm going to sleep in a tent. I'm going to do what I love for a living, which is playing music. And if I just make a little bit of money, I'd rather do what I love with a passion and make a little money than go back to contracting and try to make a lot of money and be part of a society that doesn't even want me no more. Fuck them, you know? Fuck society. That's the way I feel.
Feel that? Why did...
I meet a lot of good people, but I believe there's a lot of good people out there, but for the most part, most people, all they care about is themselves. You could be standing there on the corner bleeding and people just drive by you. They wouldn't want no part of it. They wouldn't want no part of the...
Actually, the first time I watched this, that one where like you could be standing on the corner bleeding, they wouldn't, they just drive by. That's like another thing that is like deeply troubling.
The amount of people I've driven past who are pulled over on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Where you could just ask like, yo, everything all right? Like, do you have someone on the way?
Yeah.
But I just don't.
But that gets
because I'm so focused on that I'm getting to my my job or my friend's house or whatever.
Which is like we're
All
moving
mine,
so
mine,
fast
mine.
and yeah, thinking about yourself and like because that's how we're taught is not to really be like actively looking out for other people. Actively seeing how other people are doing that you don't necessarily like know because we're taught to like almost fear people we don't know. Like unless you know them, there's no trust there.
Yeah, I mean, with America, there's so many things going on that are just huge in the news. Things like shootings or kidnappings, whatever it is like that just resonates this fear throughout everything.
Definitely.
About walking up to a homeless person or walking up to a random person, not saying be stupid and like go into really dangerous situations. But 98%, 99.99% of the situations that you're going to be in, you could have walked up to that person, probably made their day.
Yeah.
And like been a help.
Mm-hmm.
So there'd be 1 in 10 that might stop and help. I walked up to a woman once to ask her what time it was. I was pushing a cart. Me and my wife were pushing our cart. We had all our stuff in a grocery cart. I was pushing. I needed to know what time it was, so I went up to ask this woman what time it was. She's like, "Oh, get away from me. I don't have any money. Leave me alone." I'm like, "I don't want any money." She's like, "Just get away from me. Go." I'm like, and I'm thinking, what could have this woman been through that she's so terrified of a stranger that she... What if my wife was pregnant, her water just broke, and I needed help? I mean, who knows? What if I was having chest pain and I needed her to call 911? She didn't care. It was just, get away from me. Go. I don't got no money.
You hear what he has to say about that too?
Yeah.
Is the fact that it's this, he's like, what did she go through?
Yeah. No, that
yeah.
shows his state. You
Definitely.
know, like, or his ability to reflect that he's going, dang, what happened to her to make her this afraid of a person asking what time it is?
Yeah, exactly. And it just shows the sort of like preconceived notions we have of who people are before you even get to talk to them or anything like that, you know? And it's like, I feel like that brings the idea of like privilege into my mind of like this woman, I imagine her as like a sort of very like privileged person.
It's also kind of crazy because us as a third party reflecting on that is us from our spot of privilege.
Yeah.
Being like,
yeah.
I feel like she would have been someone who was in a spot of privilege because we know what it's like to be the one in privilege who just walks past and doesn't think about it.
It like really, really makes you self-reflect. Yeah.
That's some stuff.
Go. I don't got no money. She thought all I wanted was her money. I just want to know what time it was. And it hurt, man. It's like, damn. People...
It does hurt.
You know, it's like, damn. It's humanity. So many people, what have they been through that makes them so terrified of relationships and people that they just don't want nothing to do with nobody? It's sad. It's
I
really
wasn't
sad.
scared of you when I saw you.
Well, it's your 1 in a million, you know? I mean, you're actually sitting down and talking to me, you know? Most people don't give a damn. But it's all right, you know. When it comes down to it, I came in this world by myself, and when I die, I'm going to be the only one in that coffin. And so really all I guess that matters is me, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think he thinks that.
Yeah.
I don't really think he thinks that.
He just like put up walls.
He just put up walls.
When that guy I was a
yeah.
little scared of you at first. Like you can tell that's the stuff that's hurt him.
Yeah.
So much to the point where he was like, oh yeah, because he had just said the why is everyone like trying to be an individual so much? We have community, and then he immediately goes back to
it's like you could just see him reverting in his head back to like old ways of like thinking.
Yeah, even the way he started looking when he was speaking.
He started like
shut down.
he seemed so confident and like clear and like sure of the words he was saying, and then right there he's just like self-reflecting in like this negative train of thought that all of us have gotten into.
Yeah, no, it totally makes me think of the way that I react when someone like says something that hurts me and I'm like still talking to them.
Yeah.
Like how I'll immediately shoot back to my like normal responses.
Dude, I know.
Away from like that open flow.
Exactly. And you could see it almost in his eyes. It's kind of amazing when you're in conversation with people and you see in their eyes when they're saying something that they don't believe it. It's like, even when I do that with myself, when someone asks me a question and I like answer to them and I know that I don't believe what I'm saying, I'll eventually get around to that and be like, hey, honestly, like I wasn't being like truthful there, or I wasn't saying what I meant there. They always know.
Yeah.
They always know. Like the people always know if you aren't being like, if you're saying something like this guy is saying right now, and you're saying that as almost as if you're trying to protect yourself.
Yeah. I feel like some of the most wise people are just the ones who have let go of a lot of those walls.
Yeah.
And they're
yeah.
just speaking more often from that state of, I am just telling you exactly what's here.
Yeah.
They're seeing it without some sort of fog in the lens.
Yep. Fog in the lens is a good way to describe that.
Dang.
I think people matter, but the more I'm starting to see, less and less.
You matter, bro.
I feel that way about you too, man. You matter. I mean, you care.
You
It's
matter.
sad to see that most people don't. It's just sad because there's so much beautiful things in life. There's so many beautiful things in life. Relationships are beautiful.
Boom. After they both said that, he's now back into his flow.
He's back into his flow.
That's sick.
Yeah.
People should take this as a challenge to try to notice how like people do that and also open people up in that way.
Yeah.
Because it's the coolest thing.
Recognize that you have the power to do that to people. Like I've walked in rooms with people before, and it's the most amazing thing. It's like you see these certain people that allow you to be open, and like that's something to chase. Is like people where you walk in and you almost like instinctively like take a deep breath. And like those people, like my goal is to be one of those people.
Yeah,
I feel like that should be a huge goal, is like to be one of those people.
Yeah,
that like
that's beautiful.
they walk in and
That's
they feel like
beautiful.
they can be open with you,
Yeah.
and like not have those walls up.
What if that was like the first thing we taught to children?
Oh my gosh.
Like, where would our society
Just
be?
like, yeah, the amount of less like judgment
yeah.
that we'd have, like prejudgment, fear, just all of
Because
that.
fear is just a prejudgment, you know?
And prejudgment like makes you put walls up because you're afraid of making someone angry, or you're afraid of like really digging into issues, or really showing love to someone else, even if you don't know them, you know?
Bang.
Bang.
I got over 240 some friends on Facebook. Most of them I knew from high school. I mean, I knew a lot of people. I got around, all right? 240 some people I know on Facebook. Most of them I thought were good friends from high school. Christmas Day, I Facebooked them all, and I'm like, hey, it's Christmas. I haven't talked to some of y'all in over 20 years. Here's my number. Call me. Let's have a conversation. Nobody. And I posted that thing over and over Christmas Day. Nobody. And I'm talking people that asked me to be their friend. Oh, so-and-so wants you to be their friend. Well, I know this person from high school. Sure, I'll be their friend.
What does that
They wouldn't
mean?
call.
What does that mean?
It means people don't want relationships no more. They're so into their internet and so into their Facebook. They got their this is their idol. Internet's become an idol, man. It's like,
Man.
It's this is going to be kind of an offshoot on that, but
Yep.
one of the reasons like what that sparked in me was the way that we are afraid of relationships because they're impermanent.
Oh man.
Like,
That's something that's been on my mind a lot.
and something like social media gives you this safe space where it's like,
It makes it feel permanent.
yes,
If you have that space from them where you're not seeing them a decent amount, like
Yes.
you can feel like you have a strong relationship with them.
Yes.
But from my experience, you'll never regain that relationship that you had with them when you were seeing them in person, having real genuine conversations with them. You can only get the sort of ruse that you have a relationship with them.
Even phone calls or Skypes, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever, like all of those still put you in a spot of risk where like that's still this experience you're sharing with somebody else. Even playing video games, whatever it is, you're still like building this relationship that you have with someone else, and that's something you can miss. And that's something that can disappear. Whereas a
Which is
friend on
scary.
Facebook who you like see every once in a while when you're scrolling is not that.
They're always going to be there.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow.
Top shelf.
Top shelf? The
Guys
heck
spitting
is that?
like in like soccer
Top
or
shelf.
hockey, you like
Oh,
shoot it into the
nice
top
shot.
shelf. This guy's got a
This
lot of
guy
nice shots.
has some really nice shots. All right. I hope that made sense to all of you.
it's like people don't want relationships. They want the kind of relationships where they can be who they want to be and be who they are. You know, instead of being who they are, be who they want to be and pretend to be. Oh yeah, I'm 6'4" and I got dark hair and blue eyes and big shoulders, but then I can't ever meet this person because I don't look like that, you know? And most people on these internet relationships, man, I even a girl, my high school sweetheart, I hooked up with her on Facebook, contacted her. Hey, man, let's meet. Well, she gave me her number. She's like, well, look, just text me. I really don't have time for conversations no more. She'd rather go text back and forth for 2 hours, texting back and forth, instead of having a 10-minute conversation that could have summed it all up. People don't want conversation.
Dang.
Heater alert.
Someone
Dude.
do this guy. Wow.
Dude, saying, yeah, like, I think biggest thing that can show, like, a genuine friendship is that ability to call up on the phone and just be like,
Yeah.
Even if you're just saying, like, hey, you want to hang out? You say, hey, you want to hang out? And then it puts you in this spot where both of you need to be on your feet and open with each other.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're texting, you can always just
That's
leave it on
so
red.
true. It's so easy to be like, I do this a lot. Text someone like, hey, do you want to hang out? Because that gives them the option to be honest. Because it's the idea in my head that they're not going to be honest with me if they're put on the spot. Which, like, is a reflection of, like, how we treat relationships.
But it's also crazy because that fear you have is also real in some senses because people aren't open like that. Right.
That's
on the
exactly.
phone.
It's like a double sort of thing of like
Yeah.
it's my
It's
issue.
a feedback loop.
It's my issue for not being more just like on the spot, like honest with people, and also a general larger issue of like people aren't don't know how to like just say what they feel, say what they mean. Like
Yes.
they'll lie to you and hang out before they say like, oh, I can't, or oh, I don't want to for whatever reason that probably wouldn't offend me because it's them telling me the truth.
Yeah, it's like if it would be more correct for them to hang out with you just because that's like you asked them, so it's kind. But like why spend time with people who you don't want to hang out with?
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
that is not saying don't get to know people and don't give people a chance, because that's obviously like one of the big things we've been talking about with this video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Giving people a chance, but also realizing like, hey, if this isn't healthy for me, this isn't bringing much to my life or my experience, like, yeah, you should be in touch with that, and you should be able to very quickly say, sorry, I'm just like not interested right now. And then it's on them if they take that as some sort of like offense because you're just saying how you feel and you're communicating your truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want conversations. They don't want nothing no more. I don't know what they want. But this world sucks, man. The way that people see it. Really.
Totally agree.
You know, so
I mean, but
I'm just trying to make the world a more better place, man, a more beautiful place. And if music and art can do it and somebody appreciates it, that's all that matters. If I can make a difference in one person's life, that's all that matters.
Do you like feel the hope in this guy? Like that's the most amazing thing for me. He goes, this world sucks. Then he thinks for a millisecond. He's like, I know I don't feel that way. And he goes, that's how most people see it.
Yeah.
And that's also how most people treat it. And then he's like, damn, you know what? Like, regardless, he's like, in the face of all that, he's like, I'm trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, just the fact that he's been like rejected by society, started living in his tent, and also sticking to that because contracting work, like you can definitely get a contracting job with like a criminal charge that he has, especially if it's drugs.
Yeah, he definitely said that.
Yeah, that he could have gotten a job, but instead he's just doing stuff to get by because he'd rather live a life where he's pursuing something like this.
Yeah.
Trying to make people happier than faking it to be whatever.
It's his passion. I feel the same way. I'd much rather like live simply the rest of my life and be making like money so that I could live simply, like, and be doing something I'm passionate about than making any other amount of money. Any other amount of money. Doing something that I'm less passionate about. Like, I feel like that is...
I think it's also because we've come to this idea that money buys experience. Like, which in a lot of ways, at this point, since so many things are commercialized, it does. But
I mean, look at this guy.
yeah, and what he's saying is pretty much the antidote to that.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
if you were to instead invest in relationships with people, it doesn't matter that you have money to go do something. Instead, the two of you just go do anything. And it's the relationship between the two of you that is going to make it so good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on now.
Made a difference in my life.
Praise God. I mean, hallelujah.
You did. I wouldn't be sitting here with you if you hadn't.
Yeah.
Because you were playing your guitar when I walked up.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a positive difference, you know. We can all make a negative influence in somebody's life, but if we can be a positive difference in somebody's life and make them just think for a minute, maybe there is something worth caring about, you know.
Well, everyone, as always, it's quite impossible to conclude
A reaction video.
especially after this guy led us down like 100 trains of thought.
Yeah. I mean, in general, I would just say, like, go watch that video if you want anyway, or just realize that, I don't know, that just made me feel so good.
Yeah.
Like, so much beautiful inspiration.
Again, that's what I mean
how,
by just like, you can see the hope in this man.
yeah.
That he still feels like he has hope for just creating a better society. Like, I feel better about this guy than I do about someone who's like in a really stable situation. Like, not saying that this guy's situation isn't stable, but just like making bunches of money. Like, I feel like this guy, he's much more all right.
Yeah. And you, especially because you see the way that he has faced the darkness.
Yeah. And in spite of that, is still bright.
And it's not like he's all bright. I feel like that's the coolest thing, is that he's just so honest with how it is, how it's been, and how it's going to be. But within that, he's still every day just doing his thing.
Wow. Yeah. Not a place that a lot of us would think that we'd find inspiration from. But it's in the smallest things, like small interactions like that. Like, even if that wasn't filmed, like that small interaction.
Yeah, that changed that guy's interviewing him. That changed his life forever.
Yeah, has to. Dang. Wow.
So good. Thank you for joining us. Let us know what you thought about the video, or anything we had to say about it.
Yeah.
Much love.
Much love.
Keep it real.
Peace.